Hi. So, a surprisingly common issue that I've come across with successful men and women is imposter syndrome. So, if you haven't heard about that, that's just where a person can achieve what others think is great success or maybe a level of achievement. But inside, they feel like they're an imposter. They feel like they don't deserve it or that they're about to get found out. And you'd be surprised at the kind of people that actually can feel like this. And very often they're embarrassed to even share it or talk about it because they feel, well, it's kind of a first world problem, or I shouldn't really be feeling like this because nobody's going to understand it, because they're probably going to say, look, just appreciate where you are. But if you're caught up with it, then that's a major problem. Now, I used to spend a lot of time, wasted time, I might add, helping people with this. What I used to find was the approach I used to take, which was probably more in the area of probably things like NLP and things like that, would help for a period of time, but it wouldn't actually get to the root of the problem. And actually, the root of the problem, bizarrely, is to realize that thought, I'm an imposter, is actually just a thought. And while that mightn't make any sense right now, if you can kind of bring in a depth to that understanding, you realize, well, thoughts come in and out all the time. Your mind is a thought generating machine. And actually, the more you can create a gap between you behind the thought and thought, that gap, that's a high performance gap. Because the less thought has hold on you, the more power you have in terms of your leadership, focus, and success. But it takes skill and an understanding, first of all, that that's the issue. To say, okay, like I can put on a superficial gloss and work on my self-image and things like that, but that still doesn't get to the nub of the issue, especially if it's an unconscious thing. So bizarrely, just realizing that it's just a thought and the thought will come in. The mistake I made, and other people have made, I think, is they ask themselves, well, why do I have that? And once you ask that question, you're going off in the wrong direction, because your mind will just start analyzing it in a loop. Now that may or may not make any sense, but if it does, maybe you can lean in a little bit further, check out other material on my site, because from my point of view, this is one example of the inner revolution that's coming, is that very often we're focusing on the wrong things to try and resolve the problem. Or as a mentor of mine said before, we're focusing on the problem that isn't, as it's not the right thing. And obviously, in terms of business, if you're trying to progress, or even in sport or in life, we need to diagnose what the actual problem is and then deal with that. So that's food for thought. We may talk. Thanks, sir. It was like 99% there.